And welcome back to the show. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused hardship for many New Yorkers, and students were among those most impacted. Now, in response, CUNY's largest student debt forgiveness plans of its kind to help at least 50,000 students overcome debts from tuition and fees they may have accumulated through the pandemic. And joining us now to tell us more details is Bronx Community College's president, Dr. Thomas A. Isekenegbe, and also Vice President for Student Success, Dr. Irene Delgado. And welcome both to the show.
Hi, thank you, Darren, for having us. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Dr. Isekenegbe, and glad to have you, and also glad to have Irene sharing with us as well.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great. And, I'll start off with you, Mr. President. You'll talk first, Dr. Isekenegbe, because, as we're preparing ourselves really to re-enter back into the educational environment as fall semester is creeping upon us, you got to be excited on one hand for a new semester, but then at the same time, we also find ourselves dealing with a new set of challenges with this COVID-19 pandemic. So talk to us a little bit about the comeback plan.
Actually, I am excited and elated about the plan. The comeback plan, as announced by our governor, Governor Cuomo, and our chancellor, is basically a $125 million debt relief program for at least 50,000 students. I think you said it earlier on. But I need you to note, is the largest debt forgiveness program of its kind in higher ed. So go figure that you can't really beat that. The goal here really is to allow for the students to come back and pursue their educational and career goals. So during the pandemic, a lot of students suffered financial hardship. So what CUNY is doing here is to really say, we understand, we realize what you're going through. Our chancellor, the fellow Martos Rodriguez, basically announced this plan about 2 weeks ago. And again, we're all elated and excited about it. On our campus, it's going to affect, it's from phase one of it. I'll let Irene Delgado talk more about it later. It's affecting about already 8,704 students for a total relief of about $6 million.
And Dr. Delgado, share with us a little bit about the eligibility, because, you got this money out there. Students are saying, I would love to have this debt wiped clean. How do you go about the eligibility process?
Well, it's actually being done in 2 steps, and we are really excited about this because we all know that education is what makes students and their families move from one economic rung upward to the next economic rung. And part of that, though, is we need to give them the foundation that they need. Students who incurred debt between spring of 2020, we all remember, we will never forget March of 2020. So from spring of 2020 to spring of 21, if a student incurred debt at that time and they had filled out a FAFSA, and to remind everybody, a FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. If they got aid or qualified for aid and still had a balance on the books, that is automatically being wiped out. Student does not have to do anything. We have gone into the system, and when I say we, there are a bunch of people in another room furiously working at the computer, doing some kind of computer program, and it is automatically done for the student. So that's for part of our students. Then the question then becomes, well, what if I, as a student, didn't fill out a FAFSA, or I didn't qualify for aid, or I might have been an international student? Because at Bronx Community College, we have a healthy international student population. CUNY has come up with what is called a hardship application. We are waiting to distribute that. Hopefully we will get that in the next 2 weeks. And what it will do is allow students to apply for the same benefit, saying, this is the hardship that I incurred. There was a death in my family. I lost my job. We have fallen in arrears with our Con Ed bill or with our rent. And if they can give us some documentation, we will automatically lift that hold. Now, that also comes with that we want to make sure that they will fill out a FAFSA for this coming year, because we want them to be registered and we want them to be able to get all the benefits, grants, scholarships, and aid that might be out there. So it's actually very simple. The other advantage of this program and things that are happening automatically that some students might not know about is our graduates. Our graduates, let me rephrase that. If you graduated between spring of 2020 and spring of 21, and you have debt on the books, you don't have to have had filled, you should not, let me try that again. You did not have to fill out a FAFSA. It is okay. That debt has been wiped clean. Come down, order your diploma, and we will get that in your hot little hands in 6 to 8 weeks, because it has to be printed Transcripts are available to all our students who might have had debt, that those bursar holds have been lifted. We are really trying to make sure that our students have the opportunity to come back to school, graduate, go on to your four-year college, or take the certification or the associate's degree that you needed to get that leg up in the job market. It is so important to us. So we have made this as easy as possible.
Dr. Isekenegbe, let me bring it back and talk about this, because when you talk about having this kind of forgiveness, this is major. As you said, none of a kind before. You've been doing this for a while. What does this actually mean in the life of a student to be able to be afforded the opportunity to actually have their debt forgiven? I mean, some people take it for granted, but there's some really huge benefits. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
I think it means a lot to the students. Can you imagine if you wake up when this announcement was made, you were owing Bronx Community College $6,000 or $3,000. All of a sudden, that money is disappeared from the books, which means you can come back and start afresh. In fact, already we're getting calls from students that couldn't register this fall because of the debt forgiveness. They're coming back to school. So it's a really big deal, as Irene and others would say. It's really a big deal. And at the end of the day, it's going to impact not just Bronx Community College, it's going to impact our city and our nation, because we're giving students like the world to come back and finish the journey that they already started. I think I'm really excited with this. I want to say thank you to our chancellor for pursuing this. I want to say thank you to our board of trustees and the governor for really making this possible for the 50,000 plus students that will benefit from it.
Yeah, and it's got to be huge. I mean, if you think about it, if you graduate with debt, then the possibility now that to be able to graduate debt-free really gives a person a fresh start as they begin to enter into the work world, if they haven't already begun their adjustment into the career phase. President Isekenegbe, share with us right now where we are in terms of coming back, because there are some students who are really concerned with the Delta variant and all of these things out there about the hybrid. And so they say, listen, I may not want to come to class. So what are the options that are available right now as we approach the new semester?
Thanks for your question. Really, we have all of the options available. Irene will remember my term. We have like a cafeteria option. For students that want to do online, they have that option. For students that want to do the hybrid, they want to take some classes online, come in person campus, they have that option. And for students that want to come fully on campus, they have that option too. But wherever we do, we're following strict public health guidelines. The chancellor just sent out a memo, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, which says basically if you come in on campus, in buildings, outside buildings, everybody must be fully masked at any point in time. Our staff are back. Irene, I think you might want to talk about that. Some of our staff are back on campus, and you talk about what's going on in the offices.
Absolutely. Well, during the pandemic, some of our offices were still open during the whole time. For example, our early child care center was open all throughout COVID, adhering to very strict safety and health protocols. But that was before. Let's talk about now. Now we are coming back in a staggered format. So 100% of the staff will be here, but 50% of the time. So we're doing a dual modality. Sometimes we're at home, sometimes we're at work. You can't tell, but I'm really in my office today. But as a vice president, I have to come here all the time, and that's quite all right. For our students, to mimic what the president was saying, it really is a cafeteria style in terms of, you want shrimp, you want tofu, or do you want some steak? We have some students who really are all about coming back to campus. They miss seeing their friends. They miss that engagement. They want to revive their clubs. They want to be involved in student government. And that face-to-face, person-to-person contact is so important. There are other people who have found the advantages of being online, that it gives them much more flexibility in terms of their time. They don't have to commute. They don't have to worry about parking. Their time is much more of their own. Then we have other students who prefer a combination of both, that for them, part of the time being able to work from home and study from home is great, but they want that ability to go to our library, to go to our labs, to work hands-on with a group of students. We are providing that as well. But that is all wrapped in the bow of everyone has to wear a mask. Doesn't matter what your status is in terms of vaccination or if you're getting tested every week, everyone is wearing a mask all the time. Students need to be vaccinated, and if they are not choosing to be vaccinated, which of course I encourage everyone to be vaccinated, we are testing every week students, and they have to provide us a negative COVID test that we are doing on campus for free, and we upload the results for the students. We are making this as seamless as possible for our students. So in that way, everybody feels safe, and not just feel safe, they are safe.
But again, it also applies to faculty and staff. All faculty and staff are encouraged to get vaccinated, and you can upload your vaccine information into CUNY First, which basically then you get a Vax Pass that allows you to come to campus uninterrupted. But should you decide that you don't want to get vaccinated, same thing Dr. Delgado was talking about, you have to do the test weekly and show the result before you can come on campus. So you see what we're telling you earlier on, whatever we're doing, we want to follow strict public health guidelines to keep everybody safe on our campus.
Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into this. And I know that you've been doing work behind the scenes, and really we're gearing up right now for the forefront where students are really coming back to campus, and then those who are doing hybrid. Share with us about your staff, Dr. Isekenegbe, before we go. I know you got to be proud of them, because navigating through a pandemic has not been the easiest thing.
Listen, I will go to war or any battle any day with the people that I have at Bronx Community College, from my cabinet to our faculty, to our public safety guys, the people that work in the account office, our PPS guys, the guys that keep our building safe. Listen, we have a wonderful staff here that are truly committed to our institution. Remember March last year, we had on 1 week's notice to switch from in-person to online. The faculty came, did what they needed to do to make the transition. We did that again in the summer and in the fall. Even coming back this fall again, there are people that are making the transition from just strictly in-person to the hybrid mode. I can't give enough kudos and enough credit to the faculty and the people on our campus here. Even folks that work in student services, we have what they call virtual advising, virtual financial aid office, people that have used the technology to really enhance what we do with our students. So to all of our faculty staff, I want to say thank you for what you do. And I know we're going to do more, and we're going to be a better institution from there, learning from our experiences from this period.
Yeah. Dr. Isekenegbe, Dr. Delgado, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. And again, congratulations that students will be able to receive financial forgiveness. Certain students will be able to receive financial forgiveness coming out of this last semester, or I should say this last calendar year in school. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All righty.
Wonderful day.
Hey, you too. And for more information, we encourage you, don't forget to visit the BCC website at bcc.edu. Listen, we got more show coming up. Don't go anywhere. Open continues coming up right after this.